Christ is risen.
He is risen.
He is risen indeed. My name's Jake. I'm one of the pastors here, and we're glad that you are with us today. I'm a father of a 5-year-old and a 20-month-old, and so parents that have your littles with you, let them be in here. Let them cry. Let them kind of run around a little bit. It's fine. We have some things in the back, but that's a sign that a church has life, that there are kids moving throughout the space. We're not a dead church. We're in a live church. And so if you're feeling a little self-conscious, as many parents do, don't. You are welcomed here, and your kids are a blessing to this congregation and this church. Christ is risen, and all around the world, brothers and sisters are celebrating. Those of different nationalities, different backgrounds, different tongues, different nations, those who have longed for resurrection, longed for hope, those who have not known peace, those who have only known war, those who are pilgrims, refugees, those who have been displaced. Together, we celebrate the one that has defied odds. Today, we celebrate the one who didn't stay dead. Today, we celebrate the good news that dead things don't stay dead, that when night seems darkest, the light does break in, and we see an empty tomb, and the possibilities of what new life can be are endless. This is the extraordinary road that we get to be on. And this is what we celebrate today. And over this past week, we've seen Jesus come into Jerusalem triumphant with shouts of Hosanna that have changed because of expectations to shouts of crucify him. And on Friday, Christ was killed and laid into the tomb. Rome, the power of the day, knows how to squash rebellions. They know how to stop uprisings and riots. They do it with a cross. And the cross is an instrument of terror, and it's also a symbol of helplessness. The early Jewish believers were very aware of what crucifixion was like. Our Christmas story with King Herod just a few months ago starts out with a figure, Herod, but he dies. And during that time, the Jewish people wanted to try to take back some of their life, and Rome comes in and they squash rebellion. They crucify thousands of people, and as the Jewish people are walking up and down their roads, they see friends and family members, loved ones, hanging on crosses. There are those that were laid on crosses and then brought down that bear the scars of what pain looked like when we chase after hope. Crucifixion was a means of keeping people in check. It was a drawn-out method to devise, to strip people of dignity and to strike fear. Jesus' disciples were afraid. Maybe this would be their fate too. Jesus was crucified. Am I next? It's no wonder that they fled and they left him. Fear is a human emotion I think we all can identify with. We've all experienced fear at one time or another. And if we're being honest with one another, I think we are full of fear. Fear of the future, of what's to come. Fear of the unknown. Fear of our health. Maybe it's why we do not go to the doctor, for fear of if we go, something will be exposed. Fear of our financial health, of maybe our financial planners don't know exactly what's to come. That maybe I haven't set aside enough to take care of myself and the people I love. And we often have fear of our families. We have loved ones that we care deeply about, but we live in a world that is often indifferent towards the things and the people that we deeply care about. We're often fueled by fear. We will choose not to do a career, not to go after a goal, not to even go after our dreams or postpone them because we might just fail. And if I fail, then I'm a failure. We will avoid deep connections, opening up to a friend or a colleague, or even our own spouse because we fear maybe we'll be rejected when we present the most authentic, vulnerable self. We will often ostracize and push people away because we fear things that are different than us. People who don't look, sound, or think like us. And if we're being honest, I think we're enslaved by fear. It's fear that grips us, and death is one of those fears. It's the unknown. It's the time in our life, at the end of our life, where we will spend the most amount of money because we don't know what to do with death. We don't know what's to come. Are we going to have fear of regret? Did we not do enough? Are we doing too much? Was I less than? And this fear constricts us, and it takes our dreams, and it tries to snuff out the hopes that we hold on to. Fear gripped those early followers. Fear gripped those who saw their friend, their rabbi, their savior, this potential king crucified right before their eyes. But that early Easter morning, this Easter morning, something new is springing about. A revolution is beginning. A light is breaking forth, and the light and the dark is moving away. And we get to witness and be testaments to what is happening. In Matthew 1 verse 4, it says this: After the Sabbath at dawn, on the first day of the week, Mary Magdalene and the other Mary went to look at the tomb. There was a violent earthquake, for an angel of the Lord came down from heaven, and going to the tomb, rolled back the stone and sat on it. His appearance was like lightning, and his clothes were white as snow. The guards were so afraid of him that they shook and became like dead men. The women arrived to the tomb to see what they have seen. Jesus was crucified, and he laid in a tomb. They came to see. Many of us today have come to see. Can I do this again? Can I say yes to faith community? Will this year be any different? Will I come and see, go through the motions, and leave knowing what I know last year? We'll sing beautiful songs, but when I leave, am I going to feel the same? Am I going to have the same burdens, the same sadness, the same woes? When I leave here, is it going to be the same me? Today we have arrived to come and see. As the women are approaching to see what they have already seen, lightning, an angel comes down and the stone is rolled away, and the guards at the tomb are as if they are dead. The grand reversal has begun. Rome does not fear anything. Those with power, they don't have to be afraid. Empire has nothing to fear, but here the stone is rolled away. The angel sits upon it, and the soldiers are stripped of their power, where just a few days ago they stood before Jesus, stripped Jesus of his clothes, and gambled before him, stripping him of his dignity even in death. Today is a day of grand reversals. The angel said to the women, "Do not be afraid, for I know that you are looking for Jesus who was crucified. He is not here, he is risen. Just as he said, come and see the place where he lay. Then go quickly and tell his disciples he is risen from the dead and is going ahead of you into Galilee. There you will see him. Now I have told you." Do not be afraid. Okay, really? Like if you saw something fall from the sky and there's lightning and we would be afraid, right? We would be afraid. Do not be afraid. Look at what I just witnessed. Of course we're afraid. Of course we're still trembling. We have witnessed a horror beyond measure, and now we are witnessing an unknown, an uncertainty, and we don't know what's going to happen. And the angel says, don't be afraid, but come closer and come and see. The women are invited to see with their own eyes, to see again, to see that Jesus' tomb was empty, to be witnesses of hope, to see that what was doesn't have to be, that maybe death isn't the end, that death doesn't end our hope, that maybe death doesn't end our narrative. Come and see sounds easy, to take another look, to reconsider, to move from distant to proximate. Like the women, our invitation this Easter is to come and see what has happened, to draw close to a space that was once a space of death, where now life is bursting forth. We are asked to draw close and to take note of what is happening. You and I are invited again to take another look. We know what we've experienced. We all know how life goes. We know that dead things stay dead. But today we are invited to see again. And the angel says, come and see. And then he says, go and tell. And we get to witness the first preachers, the carriers of the good news, these women that come to the tomb that didn't desert him while on the cross. They are given the commission to preach and share the good news, and we are on the shoulders of their witness. The women hurry away from the tomb, and they're fueled by a new imagination of what could be. An empty tomb, an angel, something new, a light flickering, something new has begun. They have seen, they have witnessed, Jesus is not there. The tomb is empty. The fear that had gripped them, the expectation of seeing soldiers guarding a tomb, their friends, Savior, all dead, but something has changed. Everything. Fear was giving way to something else. Maybe something better would take its place. They were afraid, yet they were filled with joy. In 2019, we welcomed Amelia, our daughter, into our lives. And I was a first-time parent, and we were living in Oregon, far away from family. I'm from Indiana, my wife's from Illinois. And while we were there, we found out Amelia came 2 weeks early. We were not prepared. So we're hanging out with friends, my wife's feeling a little uncomfortable, so we go home, and she's like, man, Jake, I just don't feel good. I'm like, oh no. And so I am doing the only thing I know what to do, and I start speed cleaning our townhome. So I'm running up and down, I'm cleaning everything that I can, and then she says, hey, Jake, I think we need to go. And I am freaking out, because at this point I'm going, I don't know if I can be a dad. I don't know if I can do this. There's a reason why I didn't have goldfish, because I killed them all. I can't be a dad. I am going to mess this kid up. I'm messed up. I can't parent, because if I'm messed up, they're going to be messed up, and then we're all going to be messed up. We're all going to be in therapy, and it's not going to be good. So I am freaking out, and we go to the hospital. And as we sit there, they admit us. I'm spending time with my wife, and we start seeing the contractions, and I'm breathing with her. I'm doing we're doing everything that we can, and in the midst of the moment, I start to cry, and I'm like, I can't do this. I can't do this. But in that moment, my wife needed me to be present in there. We don't have family. We didn't have friends super close. And so we're welcoming this child into the world alone. And I am afraid of what's to come. And as she's crying and tears are streaming down her face and the contractions are getting heavier, they push something called Pitocin, which is a horrible, hellish of a drug. And it ramps up even more. And then we find out that the doctor we had been seeing is on vacation. And we are presented with a brand new doctor. And I'm like, hi, what are you? No. And so I'm like, okay, you got to put on your game face. We got to do this. And as we're going, and we're going, she's pushing, I'm crying, she's crying. There's nurses going around. I might faint. I didn't faint, thank goodness. And then we hear cries. And fear automatically went to joy. Fear was still there. Am I going to suck as a dad? Probably. I'm going to royally screw it up. But in that moment, fear went to joy. He is not here. He is risen. It's at Easter that new possibilities emerge. We may still have fear, but hope breaks in. You are here. Your family is here. Your friends are here. There may still be fear, but something beautiful is being birthed. What if? What if there is more? Maybe there is more. Maybe we don't just fight and strive and die. Maybe the chaos in our hearts and lives is not the only experience we have to have. Maybe my frustrations in parenting, the times I've been alone, the mourning of lost ones that I've had this year, and the broken relationships that I've partook of and I've also been hurt from. What if death isn't all there is? What if there's something more? What if fear can lose its hold on us, our hearts, our lives, and our imagination? What if joy can actually bubble up in its place? Suddenly, Jesus met them. Greetings, he said. They came to him, clasped his feet, and worshiped him. Then Jesus said to them, do not be afraid. Go and tell my brothers to go to Galilee, where they will see me. First the angel, and now Jesus. Don't be afraid. It's at this point in the story where Jesus says, don't be afraid again, the second time. Yet my core fear comes to the surface when I meet the risen Jesus, that I am still afraid. Jesus, I know you're here, but I'm afraid, I'm full of fear, and I'm often enslaved by it. The pressure to succeed, to take care of, to protect, to love, to show up. Maybe it's not enough. Jesus, what if I'm not enough as a dad? What if in my parenting I hurt my kids more than I would want? What if I'm not enough as a dad? What if as a pastor, what if I'm not enough? What if my preaching and teaching push people further away from you? What if with good intentions I seek to love, but I end up ostracizing instead? What if I'm not enough as a husband? What if I put church before my spouse? What if I am not present when I am needed? What if I am not enough? Jesus, what if I am not enough? Jesus, you tell me not to be afraid, but if I'm being honest, I am full of fear. Because Jesus, I'm not enough. Am I alone here, or are these just my anxieties coming to the forefront? Or do we share this fear that maybe deep down we aren't enough? Not enough as a parent, a spouse, a student, a friend, a coworker, that maybe we get to the end of our lives and our lives have not amounted to anything. I imagine these are the thoughts of some of the disciples when they left Jesus, when Peter denied him, when they left him at the cross and hid behind closed doors. But in this story, Jesus has an answer to the question, am I enough? But before they can meet with Jesus, something weird in this story happens. The women go and tell the disciples and say, hey, we've got to take a journey. Before you can meet the risen Savior, we have to go to Galilee. Galilee was a 100-mile walk from Jerusalem to where Jesus was. I imagine the women going and telling the disciples and them going, what do you mean he's not here? What do you mean I have to walk days to go be with him? I imagine as they decided to walk this road that they're wondering, is this worth it? Is this okay? Can I keep going? I don't know if I can do this. I messed up. I left him. But here's these bubbling women over here shouting and being excited of what happened. Maybe this is true. Maybe if I do walk this road, maybe Jesus is at the end of it. Maybe if I do decide to say yes to this road, maybe, just maybe, there is more. What if at the end of this road there is Jesus? What if as I walk this road, as I am walking towards Jesus, Jesus is actually the one walking with me? This Easter, I wish I had a big aha moment for you. I wish I could just prove Jesus to you. Wouldn't that just make this so much easier? I wish I could say something that would bandage up the wounds that we all do carry. The disappointments that you have experienced, I wish there was something more I can offer. I wish I did have a magic fix. But all I have to offer you is an invitation. An invitation to walk a road that leads to Jesus. If you're a skeptic, I invite you to walk this road. If you're someone that has given up on faith, I invite you to walk this road. If you're someone that is just full of fear, I invite you to walk this road. If you are someone like me who wonders, will I ever be enough? Can I be enough? Walk this road. Because when we walk together, as we share each other's burdens, as we sing together, as we laugh together, as we weep, as we seek, as we ask questions, as we cling to faith, something will happen. Darkness will move to light. Fear will give way to joy. Death will give way to life. Brokenness will give way to wholeness. Loneliness will give way to a home. And hope will be restored. The invitation to walk the road that leads to Jesus is an invitation to come home. No matter what you've done, Jesus welcomes us home. Jesus transforms our stories. Jesus heals our hearts. And on this Resurrection Sunday, know that as we walk this road of faith, with its highs and lows, with your questions and doubts and frustrations, with your sin, with your inequalities, whatever you bring to this road, Jesus also walks with you. So come and walk this road with us.